these connections that we're able to answer important questions through research.
Here at SeaWorld, we have a unique opportunity to conduct research about killer whales, asking important questions that can only be answered in a setting like this.
Now, Sarah just recently finished meeting one of our females. Her name is Sakari, and she is 7 years old. Sakari's name means sweet, and she weighs almost 3,000 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention to the center of the pool for Takara and our cat.
So much more for their own species.
Ladies and gentlemen, Takara, Sakari, and Kamea will be joining us right here on stage one more time. Now, let's make sure that they all know you here. Let's give them a great big round of applause. Wow, aren't they incredible? All right, let's see what other great questions you have in. All right, so many of you wonder about our trainers. In fact, raise your hand if you ever wanted to be an animal trainer. Well, that's quite a few of you. Then you should meet some of our other dedicated trainers who interact with our family of whales every day. You've already met Brittany, but Brittany, who else do you have with me today? Joining me on stage, I have Maria, Caitlin, and Amy. Our killer whale trainers are so passionate about what they do here every day, and that makes me think of another one of your great questions. Do the trainers talk to the whales? Brittany, I'll let you answer that one. Now that is a great question. We may not communicate with our whales the way you and I talk to each other, but we've developed a very unique set of signals in order to communicate with them. For example, if we bend at the waist, like our trainers are demonstrating, our whales will nod their head up and down. Next, if we raise one arm up in here, our whales will mimic us and raise up their pectoral liver. And if we wave, they're going to wave on back. Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and give our whales a nice big wave hello. Wow, that is a lot of questions. And believe it or not, we get them every day. We sure do. And to answer that top question of how our whales communicate with each other, they use different sounds and vocalizations. Now listen carefully as some of our whales demonstrate those sounds. Each kind of killer whale, each pod, has their own unique dialect and own unique set of calls. Another way they communicate is by using their bodies, as demonstrated by these lobtails at the side of the pool. When a whale uses their body to slap the water, it creates a commotion both above and below the surface. Now this individual here wonders, why do whales jump? And I just so happen to have that emoji. Take a look. A jump like
Administration, or NOAA, to help them develop a model for identifying when a killer whale is pregnant by looking at aerial images of the animal in the wild. Prior to this cooperative effort, where SeaWorld provided direct, unparalleled access to our pregnant whales, researchers had no solid way of knowing whether or not a female in the wild was carrying a calf.
Husbandry behaviors. These allow the whales to participate in their own health care. For example, if we look over here at Sakari and Maria, she's doing what is called a fluke present. From this fluke present, we are able to obtain a blood sample. With this blood sample, we can get an overall baseline of each whale's health. Up next, Kamea is going to show off what is called a slide out behavior. This is a very important behavior because this is how we weigh our whales. We can make sure they are staying a healthy weight and calves are maintaining and growing. Now those high energy behaviors that you guys see out in the ocean and here at SeaWorld allow a whale plenty of exercise. Sakari is going to show off by swimming all the way down to the bottom of that pool. She's going to do what's called a side bow at the far end. She's going to use those tail flukes to propel herself all the way down to the bottom of this 40-foot pool and up and out of the water. Not to be outdone, her sister Kamea also wants to show off how strong she is. By using those tail flukes and that peduncle, she's going to swim all the way to the bottom and also come all the way up and out of the water. These high energy behaviors ensure the whales get the exercise they need every single day.
Wow! With all of those high energy behaviors, I'm sure that our guests are wondering just how much does a killer whale need to eat to stay healthy?
That depends on the whale's size and age. For example, Kamea, who is 3 years old, she eats 70 pounds of food a day. Whereas Kyara, our largest member of our pod here,
Researchers in the field can use that information to tell if oceanic habitats are healthy enough for killer whale populations to thrive. And that kind of information is invaluable.
you know, food, exercise, and physicals from our vets are not the only thing our whales need. Each whale's well-being is so important to us. We want to make sure that their minds are stimulated as well. One of the best ways we can do this is through environmental enrichment devices. Pretty much a very large word for killer whale toys. Now, Maria and Sakari are interacting with what we call a planter. It's made out of hard plastic. Inside that planter, we have some jello. We can put ice, fish, jello, all different types of things we can use for that planter. Now, if you look at Kamea down here, she is playing with what we call a strap toy. It's made out of a dense fire hose. Now, in order for a toy to be a toy here at Champion Stadium, it has to be either edible or indestructible. We can do a variety of different things. We can do visual plays with the glass. We can also do different types of feeding sessions. Now, even though we have all these toys and enrichment, the best form of
Because we simply just hang out with these whales. And those some of the most special moments that I've had in my career working with animals have just been in those quiet times, in those relationship sessions. And then of course our last type of sessions that we do are shows. You can see those whales are still mimicking some of their trainers over there. I'm really glad that you all came and stuck around so then that way you can see a little bit of some of the different things that we do throughout our day. Now we actually have 6 whales living here at SeaWorld San Antonio. The 4 of them that are in this pool right now. And then we have 2 adult male killer whales that are 17 years old and 25 years old. Another question we get asked all the muscle between that dorsal fin on their back and their tail flukes. It's called the peduncle, and that's how they power themselves through the water. Those two flippers on either side of their body are called pectoral flippers. Pectoral flippers help these whales stop and steer while they're swimming in the water. If we were to take an x-ray of them, there would be 5 digits in there, bones, so just like our hands. And that's a difference between a flipper and a fin. Flippers have bones and fins do not. So that fin on their back, that's called a dorsal fin. That has no bone structure. So we get the question all the time, how come some of their fins curve over? There's no bone structure in that dorsal fin. It's made of a dense fibrous material similar to the cartilage in our ears, and it becomes very tall and very heavy sometimes. So sometimes it starts to curve over and it will grow into that curve. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening and hanging out today. I have one question for all of you.